Welcome to another technical analysis video. This is our daily stock trading series, and my name is Eric Lewis. Today we're going to take a look at Intel Corporation, and of course, this is November the 15th, 2019. So here's a one-year price chart of Intel. As you can see, we had a significant fall from recent highs back in late April, falling all the way down to essentially another retested bottom of the year, a little lower actually, getting in this $44, a little less than that, 43 and change range. And we've just sort of been on a grind back up since then. Certainly some earnings updates have helped, including the most recent one, I believe in October. The moving average for the 1 year shows that all three moving averages, the 10-day, the 20, and the 50, are all in line for a bullish pattern. So no surprise there, especially since we did get a gap move over here in late October. I would expect that these moving averages would all be in line. So let's widen it out to the 5-year. And here's a look at the 5-year data on this chart. And we're going to discuss this a little bit later, but you know, when I see highs that are very similar, lows that are very similar, this just reeks of a sideways channel. But of course, when we take a look at the moving averages, they have recently corrected with that up move back in October, and these of course are weekly bar charts, so that's why it's so much more compressed. But all three moving averages, once again, are in line. The 10-week is higher than the 20-week, is higher than the 50-week, and you can see those numerically up in the upper left-hand corner of these graphs. Now, because of that sideways channel, I really wanted to see a larger time frame, and this is essentially all the stock data that would fit on this chart, on this graph. So all the way back from 1973 until present. And you see a little bit different story. We are not testing new highs. In fact, we haven't even reached the highs that we hit back in the 2000s, back in early 2000s. So we're going to do a Fibonacci analysis on this last big retracement because the more recent ones kept approaching 100% retracement. So that doesn't add a lot of value, but hopefully this will. So when I look at this move that happened back in 2000, all the way really down to the fall of, I took the low that occurred in 2009. You basically have the 2001 recession and the financial crisis over here in 08-09. So looking at using that as our metric, so far we crossed the 23.6, we crossed the 38.2. The 50%, of course, we crossed pretty quickly and strong. Then we got to the 61.8 level, kind of stayed around there, and have not quite hit the 78.6 retracement of a move of a high point that was reached back in 2000 when technology was changing the world, and we had, you know, these Intel processors were helping to fuel the internet boom. So just looking at the MACD of the 1-year chart, we're getting across in the overbought territory, which is not a bullish signal. That is very much a bearish signal. And just for validation, I wanted to look at the 5-year with the MACD as well. And that, of course, is going to give us a little bit different outcome. We have a cross that happened back in September in the oversold area, and it appears to still have some bullish momentum on the 5-year. I think that 1-year chart is actually taking into account the sideways channel a little bit more than the 5-year graph is. But the fact that these two are sort of contradicting one another gives us reason to pause. And then, of course, this is a image of the sideways channel that I mentioned. So you have up here around, we'll call it $58.50. You see that red line, which seems to be acting as resistance. We haven't broken above and stayed above that in the recent future. So between that and then this bottom, which is right around $44 a share. You know, that's even though it's a $13 wide channel, $14 wide channel, that's very significant for a stock of this value. Still, without us breaking out of this channel, I would not be putting money. I'm not betting stock money on this. If I were to play this, it would certainly be with the options. And you guys have heard me say that before. I obviously have a preference for option trading, hence my weekly option podcast. But still, this is a very interesting move. In my career, I have gotten chopped up on this pattern a number of times because I always think we're about to break out, and then we don't. Like this head fake that we got back in, what would that be? Probably in April, early April. This would have cost me a lot of money because I would have seen us break above this line. We had already passed recent highs. We're making new highs, and I would have said the stock is going to go to the moon, and it didn't. It came right back and retested very quickly the previous low of this channel. So I am skeptical where we are right now, and I think any investor should be as well. So overall, stock is retesting the recent highs, but the moving averages for both the 1 year and the 5 year indicate a bullish pattern. So that's good. It's strong when both of those, when the moving averages for both time frames are in line. Now that Fibonacci retracement of the last big moves shows that we've been stuck between the 61.8% and 78%, 78.6% retracement levels for a while. Now the MACD gave us a conflicting indication because the short term, the 1 year MACD, definitely appeared to be crossing in the overbought territory, which is a sign that the bullish momentum is about to fade and we're about to go lower. The 5 year MACD, of course, still appeared to be moving strongly bullish. So we'll see how that plays out. The overall analysis of this recent price history just shows a sideways channel. And I always warn against that sideways channel. So I think if Intel stock can push above the previous resistance level around $58.50 and stay there for several days, if not, move well beyond it, then I'll trust that we've broken out of this channel. But until then, I just don't trust it. We could just as easily fall down to test the support of that channel, which was around $43.75. So that's it. Keep an eye on this one. I'm not going to make any trades on this immediately. I need more data. In the next week, the next 2 weeks, we might have a clear indication of whether this is a true breakout pattern or if Intel is actually trading in a sideways channel, at which point you can figure out what the best trade to capture that downward move would be again. So thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, feel free to share these with your friends. I love it. You guys are awesome. That's it. Happy trading. Take care.